So is this episode 10?
This is episode 10.
Fucking
Who would have thought, 10 weeks. Alright, so because most of our views disappear in the first 60 seconds, please head over to www.titancastnetwork.com and vote for us as your favourite podcast to help us win some gear and bring better quality podcasts to you.
Look, it's been brought out as a friendly competition, and I hope you guys can all perceive my air quotes. I actually want to fucking win.
It would make
Absolutely.
It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. Just
Studcast can start up.
oh
That's the only reason why we haven't done it, because we need one another mic.
yeah, exactly. And another mic would mean that's why I put up on Instagram. Like if you vote for us and send us a screenshot, we'll get you on, or we'll dial you in.
100%.
And I reckon it'd be awesome. Get as many people on as possible, like in different episodes or at least different little segments. We've been saying for weeks, comment on our stuff, and please keep doing it. But now that it's come to our attention that a couple of people have actually done it,
This is on YouTube.
On YouTube, and it's fantastic. So I think it's only sort of fair that we discuss it for
Yeah, definitely.
just briefly. So a week ago on our podcast that talked about conspiracy theories a fair bit, and one of the main ones we sort of chatted about was 9/11. And someone on YouTube, so we've only got 2 comments on this. Surprise, surprise, 2 more than we usually get. So whatever. They've said it had a little bit to say about the about 9/11. They've said the Twin Towers demolition has been blamed on the Mossad, but I think they meant that as though like conspiracy theories have blamed that on the Mossad, because it was definitely not. It's blamed on Al Qaeda, the Mossad being the Israeli like intelligence, I think. They've also said that they want to point out that Building 7 was a high security federal building and no foreign agency would have ever been allowed to demo such a federal building. It had to be an inside job. And look, that's interesting in itself. I didn't know that. I thought it was just as public as the others.
I didn't even know Building 7 existed until we recorded the podcast.
Yeah, well,
my
most
sort of
people
thought
don't.
was, when we were talking about it being or looking like it was a demolition charge that had taken it down or something like that. Yeah, I mean that's sort of where my head went straight to. I was like, well, yeah, if it's a demolition of some description, obviously it's been done, with access. So
yeah. We've also had another comment. Oh, thank you very much, Roland. I'm just gonna say Roland. I'm not gonna try give the last name a crack. We've also had a comment a day ago from someone called Jacob OC on YouTube, and they said the most interesting conspiracy is that the elites want us to believe in this Zionist conspiracy which has strangled the world for centuries. The idea behind it is to blame religion for all the problems on Earth. You know what? As conspiracies go,
That just sounds like life to me. Cause
if I'm honest, I blame religion for so much. Like, I blame religion for so much.
It's funny, I don't think I did until I watched Family Guy.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Nah, see, I always sort of thought...
it depends.
Not always, obviously, but...
You've got to look at it in a couple of... that sort of issue you've got to look at in a really critical way, because straight away you look at it from a historical perspective, and a lot of people blame religion essentially for what's sort of typically known as the Dark Ages. But then they also fail to realise that without religion, pretty much all of the Roman Empire wouldn't have happened. So, you've got to balance it out and see. In some ways, it definitely has helped shape society in a correct way, but in others, there's definitely been a lot that it's done to, discourage development.
100%. And there's also that argument of do we get our morality? Because, a big argument, especially by sort of creationists, is... Joel's just showing me how clammy his hands are, and I have sweat all over my... Yeah.
Oh, you just rubbed your...
Yeah, that's gross. We just shook sweaty hands.
Kind of kinky.
Surprisingly, mine are pretty good tonight. Normally, they're either really cold or really clammy.
Sorry, just on that point though, yeah, I think a big point by creationists is we get our morality from religion, and I don't believe in that. But
if you look at just take one look at the Ten Commandments, if you're looking direct correlation between some of our laws and the Ten Commandments. You know, there's a pretty sort of solid alignment.
I blame religion for heaps, and that's me being genuine. Not like a moment of self-reflection. I need to stop blaming religion. I mean, I blame religion for fucking heaps. Also, another interesting conspiracy is the idea of a fake alien invasion to unite the world and make us believe that humans are not special and that we are just a random sphere in space rather than a special creation for the universal spirit. I'm getting a very religious vibe from you, Mr. Jacob Obsey, and I gotta say...
Sounds like science, but without the invasion happening.
I dare say I'd really like that. Like, from my perspective, like, look, I don't like the lying perspective. I don't like the fact that it's a fake alien invasion, but it's one of those things where might just need it to get people to look at things with a bit more sort of rationality around them. But look, Jacob, we really do appreciate your feedback. Not trying to shit on you here, buddy. Just saying our thoughts on it, as you said yours, and we're thankful for you for that.
Have you guys ever thought of, like, I mean, I do it every now and again. There's a game I really like called Mass Effect, and essentially in it the story goes like humanity finds this big portal thing at the edge of the solar system one day. You guys ever thought about
like Stargate?
Yeah, pretty much something like that. You guys ever thought about, like, you know, what if in the next like 20 years they found something like that?
I'm kind of hoping they do, because it nearly takes every bit of pressure that you're living with now. Like, I was worried about fucking making enough money to buy a house. Now there's a portal to a different side of the universe.
I reckon it'd be sick.
What are my problems?
You know what trips me out is the fact that the universe is always expanding. And I'm like, what the fuck is it expanding into? And obviously anything that's outside the universe is technically inside the universe, because the universe is everywhere. Like, that's the idea. But they say the universe is expanding, and I don't fully get that. I've just pictured it breaking through just standard brick and mortar walls.
I was thinking of a white page and then, like, just space, like, washing over it constantly.
I think
that's a cool way to think about it. For sure.
I think you've got to think about it, instead of, you know, it expanding into something that previously had nothing, you've sort of just got to take it back and think, okay, there's now getting more and more distance between everything.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's...
So if everything that ever existed and ever was here, the Big Bang happens, it's pushing...
Yeah, so the way I like to think of it is, instead of it, you know, you think about a balloon and you blow it up, and obviously it expands. You know, if you put a balloon in a box and you blow up the balloon, it expands and takes away space from inside that box. Imagine that there's no box there, and you're actually just looking at a bunch of dots that you've already drawn on the balloon. They're actually just getting further and further away. They're not necessarily filling up something.
Yeah. That's
a
cool.
really good way to look at it.
And I also think on that, because infinity seems to be a real hard concept for humans to grasp.
Yeah,
like, it's hard for us to fathom the fact that there is just unlimited space. But do you think that we struggle with the thought of infinity because we're used to having everything so finite? Like, we're used to being confined to Earth with finite resources, and that's why we struggle with the concept of we actually don't run out of space.
Yeah, well, that, like, you look at just our basic senses. You know, we pick things up based on limitations. And, you know, the idea that there is somehow not a limitation somewhere
fucks us up, eh? Fucks us up real bad.
It's almost impossible to fathom.
Nearly think of it like an ego thing. Like, we've come so far and become so advanced and pretty much think we're top shit, and then there's
there's
an infinite
an
amount of
expanse.
everything out there that
that we can't even think about.
that we can't even fathom, so it just kills us.
Should we get on to some topics? None of that was even meant to be spoken about, so that's fantastic.
No, that's good. I just wanted to say, like, while we're on the topic of reading people's comments, Alicia sent us a message, our good friend.
Oh yeah, we were meant to
on
talk
Instagram.
about this. Yeah, fuck yeah.
And she said, thoughts on the new Disney remakes? Are they a money-grabbing scheme, or are they trying to keep the legacy alive?
Do you guys mind if I start on this?
No, you go for it.
I think it's got to be trying to keep the legacy alive. I picture when I was younger and watching those movies, and now that everything is like, now that we have that technology there, I almost feel like it's a crime to not use it to try and remake it. Like, look, money grabbing. Like, what? Why the fuck do they need to? Like, Disney's got all the cash they need. Like like I totally get the idea behind that, because I've heard a number of different people sort of mention that, but no, it would be a crime to not use the technology we have now to make those cartoons actually come alive. Like, I think it's awesome.
It's pretty much the same how they made comic book superheroes in the movies. Like,
yeah,
why not?
Imagine if they didn't.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It'd be filthy. Like, they started with cartoons. They made Justice League into a cartoon and Spider-Man and all this and that, and now they've got, you know, MCU and the DCU and whatnot. In saying all that, I've only watched the Jungle Book remake, which I actually quite liked.
I liked it.
I thought it was done pretty well, but I've heard average things about the other two, being Aladdin and The Lion King. I'm yet to watch them.
I forgot about Aladdin. I've heard below average things about Lion King.
I haven't seen Lion King. The only ones I've seen are The Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast.
I haven't seen that, but that was meant to be real good.
I thought
Was
that
good,
one
yeah.
was incredible. I thought it was really good. But
Did you watch the animated ones though?
yeah, I've pretty much watched most
I never
Disney
did.
movies.
Nor the Jungle Book.
I watched both Jungle Books. I don't know how much Beauty and the Beast I watched. I know I've seen it, but I don't remember.
Like in the room, like just behind us, there's a box like full of all the old videotapes.
Princess
and whatnot.
movies, yeah.
Oh, I mean, there are some, yeah.
Alicia, thank you very much for writing in. Unreal. Okay, Josh, I know you've got some stuff written down. Joel, I know you spoke to me about something throughout the week.
Yeah, I'll touch on it.
Touch on it later.
Yeah.
Harper, let's go.
Alrighty, guys. So I was thinking of, I was just working away, doing some stuff here and there, just doing some stuff at work the other day. Not really thinking about anything in particular, and all of a sudden this sort of entertainment thought popped into my head. So what if we could have like an immersive reality? So things like we are starting to develop now. So
Like VR.
yeah, VR, but also things that interact with your senses, and so essentially you wear like a full bodysuit. Yeah.
Stimulate your senses.
Yeah, like a full bodysuit with all forms of stimulation. You're in a system where you can physically move around and whatnot. There's projections.
This is an episode of Black Mirror.
Well, yeah, like I'm touching on that sort of thing, and essentially the way I see the game playing out, or in this particular case, this is what I was thinking, is it's a game. It's sort of like a horror game that plays on your fears, and I think a good way of describing it. Have you guys seen Insurgent, or like the Divergent series? Sorry,
I don't know which one I've seen, but I have seen one of them.
No, I think I get the concept though.
Yeah. Anyway, so the system sort of plays on your fears, and you have to have the willpower, and your strength and development throughout the game, and what you can actually do and interact with and stuff in the game depends on your willpower.
So Green Lantern, go on.
Well, I mean, kind of, yeah, but like, so make it so you essentially can do anything. If you've got the willpower to do it and can think about it in that mentalist sort of way, if you want, you can walk through a wall because you have that.
So
that
a game
willpower.
where anything is possible, but only in a horror scenario.
Well, I don't know, maybe not necessarily in a horror scenario, but I'd want the game to be so immersive that you could almost not tell, and you'd touch a wall and it would feel like there's a wall there, but if you're good enough and if you've got enough control over your mental ability, you can just be like, no, there's no wall there, and just walk straight through.
Yeah, see, I've heard of this spoken about in terms of our real world, and I've heard people sort of talk about it, and I remember it was like my year 8 math teacher was having a chat to me about it, and he was saying like our ability to, the reason we're stopped by certain things is because of how we perceive them. Because you know how, like, if you take up all the actual matter in us, we're, like, the size of a sugar cube? Like, it's all just... Because atoms have, like, just massive gaps in them.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sorry. Massive gaps compared to the rest of the atom, right? But he was, like, sort of saying, you know, the exact same sort of scenario, you know? We hit a wall... And, like, our ability to perceive the wall. And I thought, what happens, right? You could test this. If this works in the real world. Obviously, it probably won't. But you put a bag over someone's head, put them in, like, a sensory deprivation type thing, spin around a bunch of times, chuck them on a plane, fly them overseas, have them blindfold them, and have them try and walk... Open them up, tell them they're in, like, a room, and tell them to just go for a walk and see if they walk through walls.
Well, tell them they're in the middle of a field. Like, give them complete sensory overload, so like they're essentially just getting
there's
constant,
like a breeze and a light smell
sunlight
and hear
through
a dog
like a Hessian bag or something.
No. So I'm talking like they're getting a full constant strobe of different colours into each individual eye. They've got loud and different sorts of noises coming in through the ears. Their taste buds are going crazy. You know, they can smell different things. They can only like...
I still have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, complete sensory overload. So pretty much they're going to pass out.
And you just tell them you got to run.
And tell them...
It's
walk.
such a cruel thing because you know they just run and hit the fucking wall. But wouldn't it be cool if they just went?
Yeah.
I've thought about that at work actually. Like if you believe in something hard enough that it'll happen. And mainly it's been about jumping off the building and doing a cool superhero landing and not dying.
Unreal.
But thinking like just like on the top of this building, level 12 stories up, just saying to one of the Sparkies, like, oi, watch this, and like do a sick, slow, like backflip off this building. And you go, fuck. Then like curiosity takes over and you fucking peek over. It's nice big cracks in the pavement from me just like fisting the ground.
You slowly lift up the fist ever so like powerfully, and there's just a cat smooshed underneath it.
Do you feel like you'd use it, Josh? Like if you have a simulation like the one you're talking about, if we were able to get to that stage, which undoubtedly I'm sure we will.
Don't really need to.
To what point do we start? At what point do we stop doing real life for one, and
Start
number
living
two,
in that.
because this is the fucking Matrix, really.
Yeah.
And number two, at what point do we, like, you just use it to help people overcome their fears? Like, if you want to start skydiving, but you're too fucking scared,
Yeah.
you do it in there because it's hard, right? Because in the back of their mind, they're still going to know there's no consequence.
Let's get Bro Jogan on it, and we'll call it Fear Factor, the game.
That's funny.
Thank you. But this is essentially just lucid dreaming, is it not?
Well, yeah, that's sort of what got me on the thought process.
Have you guys ever tried it?
Nah.
I tried it once, it didn't work.
What is it?
Lucid dreaming. And you resist the urge to sleep or something, and your body sleeps and your mind is completely aware that you're conscious while you're sleeping, and you can like see and everything, but you can't move. And anything that you think of, like, and you can pretty much control your own dreams. Like if you, it's a lot like more complicated than that, but
I've heard about it, and I'm not sure how much scientific basis there is around it. Like sleep is actually something that we don't know as much as we should about. But yeah, I reckon that's something.
Yeah,
that I'd definitely like to explore.
I'm sure they've like strapped shit to people's heads while they do it, and like see the brain like just go crazy or some shit. But that's interesting.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the only way usually we know like we can tell when someone's going into REM, but like I think they monitor their brain waves and it's just a slight drop or a slight drop in their heart rate. Like there's quite an obvious little dip, but that's it. Like bar that.
I got told that dreams are only ever like 3 seconds long, and no longer.
Yeah, I've heard that like the world seems
It's gonna end in 2012.
No, but like I've heard that everything like your conceptualization of time.
Well, yeah, think about it
it's
like
real
this,
weird.
right? For us to have a dialogue, you know, for the three of us to have a dialogue, it'll take us, let's say an hour to come up and voice and express all this content, right? Whereas if you think about it like a computer, it can have this exact same amount of dialogue and it'll be done in a second.
Yeah.
So in your dream, when there's no, physical, expression of these things, it's all just a mental. There's probably no real time perception. So you can probably just experience all these different factors. And because it's, it's only running around in your own head.
Do you reckon that's what happens when you pass out just before you die and your life flashes before your eyes?
Well, I seen a thing. I think it was just like a meme or something, but it was a kind of a cool thought. They said because your time is wacky in your dreams, right? And they said your brain is often active for like 7 more minutes after you die, and they're like, what if in that 7 minutes you relive your entire life and you're in that 7 minutes right now? Awful thought, because now you go, fuck, am I dead? Don't know.
Yeah, like you're in that.
Yeah, am I dead? I don't know.
So I wonder
if you could do my last
yeah.
7 minutes.
Take off the headset, walk out.
I wonder if
the only way to know would be to die, wouldn't it? But then you wouldn't.
Maybe and then you do it again in that
suicide?
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sorry?
mass suicide.
Yes.
Josh been talking about it.
If there's only 3 of us, is it mass?
What if we?
I'm pretty sure a mass in Australia. Like I think like a mass suicide. I think it's more than 4. I think it has to be more than 4.
Fuck. God damn it.
Well, look, Mum's just down in the hall.
No. Fuck. Is it still mass suicide if us 3 jump off a building and land on other people and kill them?
No, because they've been murdered.
Yeah.
But if we're superhero landing,
Onto cats.
No, that's just murder because we'll
it's
survive.
properly murder. Yeah. Cool topic, Josh.
Awesome topic.
Yeah, if people have persevered through what really would be considered high thoughts, but everyone here is completely sober, let me assure you.
The studded.
I hope you got something out of that. One of you guys want to go with the topic? I've got like a bunch written down here if we want to talk about something low key or a bit more thoughtful. Or Josh, do you want to power through your next one?
I've got a couple, but if you want to hit one up, let's rock with that. See what you got.
Are we thinking like a lighter, slightly funnier note, or
let's bring it up a bit.
Hit one of them.
All right. So have you seen? Actually, I've got a few here. Okay. Actually, I've got a little story, so I'll tell a little story. It's a shit little story, but
Brilliant.
we're at work yesterday, and the fire alarm went off, and we're all walking down the fire exits, and we get outside, we go to the assembly area, and in our building downstairs there's a cafe. Presumably, I don't know, but presumably the cafe must have had a bit of smoke, and that set the detectors off, whatever. Now, there's some people at my work who were at university sort of part-time and at work part-time, and I was sitting around talking to one of them, and they go, oh, I don't know what they thought. So we're all like office workers, but then there's the cafe, and they go, oh, look, even the people from the cafe are down here. And I literally said, this is the exact conversation we had. I was like, no, mate, we all get to go outside, but they have to burn with the fucking fire. Like, you idiot. Like, what did you think was going to happen? No. Everyone else is okay, but the people that work in the cafe, they're immune. Fucking idiot. Like,
Nice. Just they're not good enough to.
Yeah, I said that as well, something along those lines. I went, mate, you go to uni, best and brightest my fucking ass.
There's
You
some
idiot.
things school just can't teach you.
Yeah, that's it. You're full, like, smart at school, dumb on the bus. That's my little story. Topic. You guys seen Black Panther, right?
I haven't.
Okay, well...
I'm still significantly behind.
Okay, so have you seen in sort of, like, some African tribes, they have the big plate on the bottom lip?
Yeah.
Why?
That's more my question, but what I want to know is who went up to... Because, this is a tradition that's been passed on, and traditions have to start somewhere. Who at one point went, oi, I've got a fucking cracking idea. Like, who's gone, I've got this. Trust me, this is unreal.
You ever taste something disgusting and you go to give it to your mate and you're like, oh, try this, and they're like, nah.
That's it.
That's pretty much the tradition. Like, if someone drinks something that's disgusting and they're like, fuck, that's rank, try that.
What, would you?
Well, I was going to say I would.
You have to.
Yeah, but, like...
Wait, nice shirt.
it's now. Oh, thanks. It's now perceived as like beauty in those societies though, and it's weird how like beauty is sort of depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Like, you know how back ages ago, you know, larger women were considered more attractive because it's sort of
healthy.
Yeah. And much more like, and then you went through, I think like the mid 20th century sort of thing. It was like really, really skinny women was the thing. And, you know, now it's like the more athletic body type. And in terms of men, like it sort of went, I think it went bigger at the same time it was bigger. And then you had like Spartans. And then for a good portion in the 20th century, unless you played sport or were a bodybuilder or something, it helped you in some way. You didn't really go to the gym, so it was just your average Joe. And now it's back to, with the women, trying to match that sort of more athletic body type. And I just think how weird in that tribe that massive fucking dinner plate on the bottom lip is the athletic woman of that. Like, that's perceived as attractive.
Same as like the neck rings. Or
neck
is that for like
as well? No, that's a thing.
I didn't know if it was for beauty purpose or like to signify like a
seniority or like a shaman of some description.
Like that knowledge or like a powerful family or like I heard this in high school. I have no idea if it was true. Like I believe China or like some Asian cultures don't find tanned people attractive.
Yeah, quite often in a lot of Asian cultures you'll find poetry about people being as pale as the moon and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's the attraction.
Wow. You know what's weird? I thought this was going to be a less deep topic, but this has been kind of
you look like
educational in some perspective.
I'll show you a moon.
One more light-hearted thing I wanted to do just before we go on to another topic is we got a message today, just this afternoon, and it was just like a spam message from Asia_Evan_08_Cal, and they've given us a link to some sort of dating site, and I'm going to respond saying, already signed up. Got to respond to spam like emails and spam, Instagram, because
spam can be fun.
Yeah, I remember a guy telling me he got like one of those Nigerian scams, like an email, and he emailed them back going, hey, genuine question, like, does this work? And they go, yeah. Actually, like, they actually had a chat to him. They went, yeah. He goes, why are you doing this? And he goes, nah, people still fall for it, man. It's nothing personal. We're just making money. It's like, it's fucking cool.
Fair enough, yeah. Where do I sign?
Yeah, better get on.
It ends up scamming now. Fuck. You guys ever tried spam?
No, fuck. Apparently it's real big in Hawaii.
Yeah, but everybody's real big in Hawaii. Could very well be the reason why.
All
or is that just like hurricane food?
What? Oh, just like survival.
Some good hurricane food.
Wait, does Hawaii get hit that bad with natural
tsunamis
disaster?
Or something? I thought they did.
Surely you get like tropical cyclones and all that sort of thing.
Just think, but
nowhere near as bad as
I don't hear about many.
Indonesia and shit.
Yeah.
Is it
Indonesia?
Is it on
Fiji, Vanuatu?
the Ring of Fire?
The Ring of Fire.
Tell you what
I thought they were the Ring of Fire.
No. Ring of Fire.
In the like tectonic plate type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay,
I don't
Josh,
think they are.
Josh, you start your next topic, or Joel, if you want to.
It just reminded me talking about the Ring of Fire. There was like a.
Oh fuck.
No, it's completely.
You're talking about using your Nando sword.
Hold up. No, the Ring of. No, they are nowhere near the Ring of Fire.
Yeah,
the Ring of Fire is all the way around the continents, but I was just thinking of a hotspot.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's all those hotspots, and they're definitely one of them.
Tell you what's a hotspot. Yeah, so like the Area 51 thing, I saw something on Facebook, and it's like, let's all storm the Bermuda Triangle. It can't swallow us all at once.
That's fucking hilarious.
Brilliant. Float over there on doors. It can't take like 300,000 doors.
Haven't had this much action in years.
People are now thinking.
With the Area 51 thing, saw a little news article today. In a little town close by, Apparently the thing's booked out. Like
Stop it.
it's only a tiny town. It's got one little hotel inn thing with like 14 rooms or whatever. You know,
But they don't usually get booked out. Now they're like,
yeah, and apparently they've said like, oh yeah, you know, every now and again we get a few crazies coming through who are like, oh yeah, there's aliens in Area 51. But now for the 20th of September, when it's planned or whatever, yeah, apparently it's massively booked out, and now they're like selling like camping spots and all that sort of stuff, which is crazy.
actually,
awesome.
I'm really happy that this is happening for them.
Yeah.
To be honest, like that's fantastic. I really hope that
It'll
boosts
boost
that little economy, and then it'll crash miserably. But the people who have benefited might have enough to keep them going for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Get themselves on a holiday
Or hopefully
over to
fucking
Area
move.
51.
Apparently
Yeah.
the nearest fuel station is 50 miles or k's away in the Alamo. So
cool.
Fuck yeah, 50 miles. That's like 80 k's. All right, who's got something?
I just want to say, I heard on the radio that this, or Facebook. No, it was on Snapchat stories. So, you know, you get the news articles.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I go through them. I used to a lot, very rarely now though. And yeah.
Oh, just so
Yeah.
in case.
And then, so this comedian made a joke about xxxtentacion.
That's right. Yeah.
And he was a rapper who died. He got murdered, shot dead out front of on his way to a car dealership with $50,000 cash, and yeah, found with gun holes in him, and the cash was stolen. And the comedian said, "Fuck! When I heard about this, all I can think about was this would be a great ad for Venmo, which is like a PayPal thing." Which is hilarious.
Wow.
Like,
It's entirely true.
yeah. And then all these, like, what I can only assume depressed, like, teenagers just fucking harassed her to the point where her comedy's a job, but you can make offensive jokes. It's allowed, and really it's nearly what's expected of you if that's the type of comedy you do. And she's now not able to air that on TV because
Of the backlash.
yeah, like, that's just a good joke.
Mm.
And then going off on that, my tech teacher told me something the other day. He was once welding some pipe, and a bit of like slag popped off the pipe, and it's managed to, he had like a face mask on and like this shield in front of him, and it's managed to like go through this tiny hole through the top of the shield, fucking hell, and straight into his eardrum. Just burst it. He's had to go and get surgery on it, and he's got like mad tinnitus now. And he said to the surgeon before he went under, he's like, "You know what the difference between you and I is?" He's like, "What's that?" He's like, "I fix my fuck ups, you bury yours." That was the first joke I've ever heard, and went,
It's pretty
"Fuck,
bad.
that's pretty dark." Like, even then I was giggling a little bit. And
I
then,
thought that was hilarious
Yeah.
when you said it, but you're not the surgeon that might have accidentally fucked up before and then
Yeah.
had that said to you. Like, that's pretty rough.
yeah, that's something that'll like keep you up at night, sort of thing. But then when they, for lack of a better word, insert the sedative into you, you've got like 3 seconds before you're out. And apparently the surgeon's gone to him, "Oh, Paul, what ear was it that we're doing surgery on again?" And that's the last thing he remembered. And he just woke up and like just started grabbing his ears. Just fucking hilarious by the surgeon.
Awesome. Awesome. And, like, good on him for taking it like a champ.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you've actually brought that up, all of that. Because, one, that Venmo thing, look, terrible thing that happened, but that Venmo joke's fucking hilarious. And not only that, it's relevant.
It's not even like it's offensive to the guy who died. It's just a...
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, well, don't carry bulk cash.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And, but I'm glad you brought that up, because actually one of the topics I had written down here was political correctness destroying the entertainment industry in general, particularly comedy.
Repeat that, sorry.
Political correctness
Yeah.
destroying the entertainment industry in general, and particularly comedy. And, like, I think about... So, I listened to a podcast with... It was Jamie Foxx, and he was on Joe Rogan. And they were talking about how in the movie Tropic Thunder, Robert Downey Jr. went blackface.
Yeah.
And Joe's like, "Were you guys cool with that?" He was like, "Fuck yeah, we were." He's like, "He killed it. Like, it's the entertainment industry." He was saying you can't you can't be killing that like shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
back in the day, I understand how it's offensive, and I understand how that would be or could be considered offensive.
Yeah.
But people are gonna have to just learn that sometimes things are gonna be relevant to you, and you don't have to take offense to them.
Yeah.
Because it's not a personal attack. And it'll slowly destroy the entertainment industry. But this is why I believe that as far as the future of comedy goes, and the only thing that gives me hope is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Because it's such like a left-wing, sort of forward-thinking little jokes and undertones in the show.
Yeah.
But is still, like, I still find it very funny.
Yeah.
And that's why Andy Samberg and that show is sort of pushing towards the future of comedy. And I guess, like, they're a step ahead, really. But I don't want everyone else to lose what they've already got.
I think what's so good about Brooklyn Nine-Nine being, you know, the new and progressive sort of comedy is it still touches on those, you know, issues of race and religion and the sensitive topics and whatnot, but it does it in a way, you know, it doesn't necessarily make a joke that's offensive, but it makes a joke about that topic in general.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe how they do it exactly, but, you know, we as an audience still have to perceive that something, and we still have to know why, you know, that situation would be bad in what they're talking about. And we can see, because of the characters' reactions and that sort of thing, that's what tells us that it's it's that situation.
Joel and I are nodding along here in agreement.
It's nearly like, I guess if you wanted to teach a kid something and you put a YouTube tutorial in front of them, I feel like Brooklyn Nine-Nine comedies like that, they tackle like the big issues that are prevalent today, like sex, racism, and all that sort of shit. But they do it in a way where you're watching it and you're learning. You nearly learn how to see a funny side of it, but also respect all parties involved in the situation. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine steps away from it, but comedians in general are just like, the more stand-ups I watch, the more they try and like emphasize on that they use some of their jokes to lighten a dark situation that...
Oh, they're hamstrung.
Yeah.
I think, look, a great example for me to bring up on this would be Jim Jeffries. Because his jokes, like, in his last piece, so he went to Canberra, had like the most awful write-up written about him because, you know, someone read his... watched a show and was like, Jim Jeffries jokes about rape and Bill Cosby, and he was like, mate, he said in like his Netflix special, goes, if you just read my material, it's a bad read. Like, his whole skill in life is to be able to say horrible things and still seem likable.
Yeah.
And it's true, like, these are awful things that happened. Bill Cosby, like, not a good dude. If you can't crack a couple funnies about it,
Yeah,
like...
Dave Chappelle's hero.
Like,
I love Dave Chappelle.
Oh, he's so funny.
fucking funny, dude.
God, there are actually some really funny rape jokes in the Jim Jeffries like stand-up specials.
Oh, hilarious. Have you... I really like Jimmy Carr, but have you heard Anthony Jeselnik?
No.
He's great at a dead baby joke.
Is that one of the ones on...
And pedophilia jokes. Like, they're... Again, bad, and look, we signed a little agreement, so we can't make such jokes, and that's fair enough. I'm happy to not have that in this podcast, because, you know, we're not sort of about... I'm not 100% about that sort of darkish side of humour, so that doesn't affect us too much. I think it needs to be said that there is a place for that, and if you know you're going to be offended by that, then don't watch it.
Yeah.
But there still needs to be a place where, you know, especially with freedom of speech, you're able to still access that if you so please. If you want to laugh at some dark shit,
it's just it's a good medium to spread a message anyway. You know, I think about Monty Python actually. You know, you watch those movies and, you know, yeah, the stuff that they're looking at is, you know, historical references. they're referencing absolutely terrible things, like disgusting stuff that's happened throughout history. But everyone's like, oh no, it happened, hundreds of years ago. It's not relevant. It doesn't matter. It's still entirely relevant now. Everybody is just way less sensitive about it, and they're like, oh yeah, that's there's humor in that. I can see that. And movies like that are how you get your progressiveness, because people see, oh, they've made a joke about that sort of thing. It's bad that they have the capacity to make that joke. Things need to change.
Yeah. And comedy is a mechanism for showing things as being blindingly logical.
Yeah.
Especially, that observational humor. You take an everyday scenario, or you take something that's happened or whatever, and then show to your audience just how fucking ridiculous that is, and everyone laughs at that, and then they go, yeah, no, that's really fucking bad. So I couldn't agree more.
In regards to this intelligent way of doing this dark humor, there's actually a really good example in one of Dave Chappelle's shows. He's talking about the comparison between African American people and white people, white Americans, and the example that he's talking about is there's this 15-year-old girl or 14-year-old girl, white girl, who's kidnapped from around her house, and she's obviously taken and she's held somewhere. I can't quite remember the story he tells. It's pretty good. It's a humorous story. Actually, sorry, it's not a humorous story, because obviously this girl's been kidnapped.
Humorous in the way he tells it.
Yeah, exactly. But then
the dad had a very particular set of skills.
No, not quite. But then he swings it right back around, and he's saying that in the same week, so there's been massive media coverage of the fact that this teenage white girl has been kidnapped. But then in the same week, or very, very similar time frame, there's been an 8-year-old black girl who's also been kidnapped, and she's miraculously been left. She's escaped and she's gone back home. He makes the remark, she was kidnapped and then she escaped and was home watching herself on the news by 5:30. It's an incredible story, but he's talking about these tragedies that are going on, these bad things that are happening, but he's using that comedy as a way to revert it back around and say, actually, hey, also look at this tragedy that's happening.
Yeah, I agree. I've just got no further comments.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was just a observation.
Do you guys have anything else? I've got stuff if we want to talk about it.
I've got one that might help bring the mood up a little bit.
Fucking rocket.
What childhood fears did you guys have? Or do you still
Cockroaches.
have? Cockroaches?
No. Still slightly, but never the look, seeing a cockroach, the smell.
Oh, that when you popped it or something?
Sort of like the stink bug smell.
Yeah.
That's only because my first rugby league coach absolutely stunk.
Oh.
He'd always shake my hand or something, pat me on the back, get real close, and I don't know why. I don't know, it was such a bad smell, and cockroaches just happen to smell exactly like that.
Gross.
Spiders.
Spiders?
I don't love them. Here's the thing. If it's a big fuck off spider, if I see it, my initial reaction is to jump, and then I can chill a bit. I can be in the same vicinity, but it would be really, really pushing it. I really can't see me getting a container and getting it down myself. If it's a spider, probably
50-cent coin.
Yeah. If it's around a 50-cent coin, probably even 50 to 20-cent coin.
The body of it.
Oh, I meant the whole spider.
If
it's a 50 to 20-cent coin, I'm happy to either leave it or kill it. I can do that myself and not be too worried. If the body of it's a 20 to 50-cent coin and then big fuck off legs, and that's what sucks is they're the huntsmen. They're the harmless ones. They're the chill ones. But literally, I woke up I remember there was probably I want to say about 10 times in my life that I'd wake up, look at a wall in my room and see a massive fucking huntsman. And I don't know where they were coming in from, but, they're spiders, man. They were getting anywhere.
I remember one time we got a huntsman in our room and Mum got the vacuum on it. and this fucking thing stayed on the wall. Like
That's
the vacuum was pressed up to its ass, and it still had its legs on the wall. It was like blocking the hole with its ass. I was like,
That's incredible.
this thing's a machine.
Literally, because I got up and then I remember I was like 8, joking around. I walked past in front of my parents. I offered the spider brekkie. Like, I was like, "Can I get you anything, sir?
Well,
This is your room now, pancakes."
I know. Harper's looking like he wants to tell us his fears, but I just got 2 things that like I want to touch on quickly. I feel like the bigger the spider, the easier it is because you can see it easier.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way.
I'm fine with spiders. Like, I have them on my hands and shit. That's fine. But if they come out of nowhere, like I got out of the shower once and stepped on like I don't know, just a mat. What do you call it? What do you call it?
Floor bath mat.
Bath mat. And then a fucking like one of them wolf garden spider things crawled out from underneath it with like wicked pace. I shat myself. Absolutely.
It's just the reaction, right? It's the initial reaction. You jump back.
Yeah. And then another one was a while back. Pretty sure I've told you boys this story 100 times, but I went to QuestCon when they had the spider exhibit there. The most physically disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life was the huntsman enclosure. It's like 2 on the wall. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then you see that there's a tan bark base in it, and it's just fucking moving like this. And then you look underneath it because it's a glass enclosure. And the same with the bark on the back wall. It's going, like, moving as if there was fucking water flowing behind it, like a waterbed, and someone was just poking it. Just thousands of huntsmen. They were called a different type of huntsman, like I don't know, like a mob huntsman. And I guess they all just stick together. It's fucking disgusting.
So Joel, just for, because obviously we don't have any visual at the moment, but yeah, Joel's just like lightly just sort of moving his fingers a little bit, and that was sort of to portray the motion of what the bark was looking like.
Like, you know, you find the mother spiders carrying around all the hatchlings on
the little ones
on their backs, and like you touch them and you can like see them all run over each other. This is what they looked like, except everything was bigger than a fucking like 4 times the size of a 50-cent coin.
Jeez.
Disgusting.
See, I sort of go the opposite way to Aydin. If it's big, I'm cool. If it's like, you know, if it's big and obvious, I can see it. You know, if I want, I can go pet the thing. You know, I can look at it and know where it is. I don't like the small ones. You know, like I'm talking like little redbacks and whitetails and that sort of thing.
Whitetails scare me.
Yeah, whitetails are just
the idea of a whitetail scares me, because I always remember like redbacks were the big thing when you're in like kindergarten year 1, and then that one kid came to school with his facts and he was like, you know, whitetails are more deadly. I was like, what the fuck?
I just saw one of their bites and it just like eats the flesh away.
Yeah.
Because like I always used to think, I was like, I'd look at the size of a spider, and if a spider's real small, I'd go, I don't even know if his pincers would be strong enough to break my skin. And then it turns out, doesn't take much. Like about the size of like once it's past the size of, let's say, your thumbnail, if that, you're like, that's the whole spider, you're fucked. Hey, but I don't know. See, I'm cool with snakes. I'm cool with like most to all reptiles. I'm pretty chill with them. It's just spiders, man. And other insects too. Like, insects give me a fright, but that's only because I'm worried it could be a spider.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, if I see any spider on me, I'll like fucking flick it away and I'll blow up. But
you guys ever had like the insignificant little red ones?
Yeah.
That just get around on you?
yeah, but then you kill them straight up. Yeah, surely.
Kind of like just appear like the little leaf bugs do.
Yeah, like, you know, you've been outside for a little while and you just see one. You're like, oh, hey.
I've just got another thing. Something that makes me want to vomit and like nearly brings a tear to my eye is when you're laying there and a fucking mosquito flies past your ear, and it's the eeriest sound in the world. It's fucking real high pitch.
It bugs me because I know no matter what I fucking do, I'm going to be itchy on one of my limbs in the morning.
Yeah.
If that's just buzzed past me, I'm like, look, you're going to get me. Just get me once. Like, don't fuck me up, hey. What attracts mosquitoes? Do either of you know? Like, you know how some people are more prone than others? Like, I'm real bad, and I think it's blood type. But I could have totally made that up.
Quite often, they're attracted to, like, sweet stuff.
Yeah.
So, typically, if you've eaten a lot of bananas, it helps your blood absorb all the sugar and the glucose and whatnot, so then they'll typically be attracted to people who have eaten a lot of bananas.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's just one example that I've experienced before, but...
So initially, I just did a quick Google.
It's interesting.
Initially, they're attracted to the carbon dioxide that we produce, and probably heat might have a factor to do with it. It will respond to the smell of the blood source's skin. Studies have suggested blood type, particularly type O, pregnancy, and beer drinking all make you marginally more attractive to mosquitoes. That's weird, because the people I know that are most like mosquito prone, I don't think are type O. I'm not.
It's weird that you know that.
Well, no. Oh, actually, no. My cousin is. Weird that I know that, actually.
I don't even know my own blood type.
Nor do I. I wonder if Thomas and I
think I like B pos. Yeah, that'd be interesting. You'd think so.
Look it up. Pull that shit up. Yeah. Do twins quite often have the same blood type, or do they have different blood types?
Does that mean if you go to the gym and like your muscles are pumping and all your veins are fucking just popping out of your arms and shit, does that mean you're more attractive to a mosquito because your body temperature's like up?
Yeah, well, just based on those particular factors, you're producing more carbon dioxide because you're doing the heavy breathing, and you're also making it a more moist and warm environment. So, I'd say without a doubt. Reading
the answer, I think I could have answered this question myself based on just the logic. So, you and your brother would definitely have the same blood type because you came from the same egg, and then that split. But if you're like a fraternal twin, so a non-identical twin, because you've it's been two separate eggs.
Yeah, right.
It could be either. So, Josh, you and any of your siblings, or Joel, you and any of your other siblings besides your twin, could have different blood types.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. Sweet.
Do you reckon if you and your immediate family had the same blood type, you could probably call yourself like a pure blood family?
Yeah.
Like just royalty.
That's called Tasmania.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Back home. What were you going to say? What was your next topic? Is it light?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, still on childhood fears. You guys sort of took that as like, what do you have now? I was sort of thinking like...
Childhood fears.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll start off. I was a pretty scared kid. I used to be afraid of I was afraid of the dark. I was afraid of the water. I used to be petrified of a lot of stuff. Hated dogs. Couldn't get me near a dog. I was scared of a ram because it had horns. I was like, "Ooh, no, thing's gonna hurt me."
Actually, that's the most logical thing you've said so far. I reckon I'd be scared of none of the other things, but a ram, yeah, probably.
It was like a petting zoo where you could go and pet the nice animals, and everyone else was touching this thing. I'm like, "Ooh, don't know
scared
about
of
that
kittens for a while because we had a petting zoo at school, and I put my finger in the cage and it just fucking clawed it up. Cows, Mum made me milk it, and I cried.
Sorry, Josh, carry on.
Oh, I mean, that's like, were you guys afraid of the water, like afraid of the dark?
I was afraid of like being underwater and afraid of the dark. I'd always see some weird shit in my room.
Yeah.
Like when I was little, like up until the age of maybe 3 to 4, the dark. After that, sweet. And water, always loved it. Was never scared of the water. Oh, you know what I was scared of actually, which was weird, up until probably the age of, I want to say 6 or 7, diving into the deep end of the pool. No, I would slowly wade into the pool. Like, I was fine to, like, hop into the pool and then tread water in the deep end. No worries. I was scared of the actual jump into the water.
Oh, right.
I would not do it until I did it, and then, sweet.
Yeah, bang.
But, nah.
Yeah, right.
No, I did not have... much. Was scared of my grandmother on my father's side, but
did you I was scared of the dark, so anytime I'd wake up thirsty, I'd call out Mum, like Mum, and she'd come in and she'd be like, "What, dear?" I'm like, "Can you get me a glass of water?" You ever do that at all?
I did. No, so I definitely did that, but it was laziness, like sheer and utter laziness, not at all. Because I was scared of the dark.
I remember there was times that I'd woken up in my room, and I'd obviously gotten up off the bed somehow, and I'd moved to a different spot in my room. I'd wake up in my room completely disoriented. I just have no idea where I was, like feeling around, eyes still closed, like just absolutely no idea what's going on. And if after a certain time I couldn't find my way out or a light switch or back to the bed or something, then I'd call for someone. But quite often, like, my brother being in the next room would hear me, like, bashing around on doors and stuff, trying to work out where I was and, you know, come and open and see what's going on. But
I still do that sometimes. Not like I never got up, but let's say we're at the station because we've staying down there for a snow trip, and we're in one of the yurts, and I'm sitting there and I'm laying down in bed, and I wake up from sleeping and I go back to bed and I think, cool, and then I remember that I'm in my own bed, and then I roll over and like go to put my foot on the cold wall because my feet get real warm when I sleep, and then like it's not there, and then like I'll go put my foot a little bit further out and there's still nothing there, and I just start like freaking out, and I'm like, like heart's fucking like pumping out of my chest, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not in my own bed.
I knew that would come up in all this, the disorientation of waking up somewhere that isn't your own bed, and that initial thought. And I was going to touch on this, right? So you're sleeping in a bed, like, you know, the boys are on like just a coast trip or something, sleeping side by side with one of the boys. Force of habit, I've had a girlfriend for a long time. Force of habit, I wake up and you think, you just like throw an arm over,
Grab a tit.
I've nearly done that, I reckon. It's so many times, like literally going to throw an arm over, we do that initial touch, and then I like half open an eye and go, holy fuck. And then I just rub my cock up instead. But
slowly, ever so slowly pull the pants down.
If it was to happen to me, not happen to me, but if I were to do it, it'd be like I can't remember a time where I didn't like stay at a girl's house and like sleep in the same bed, and then I'd wake up and I'd grab an ass cheek, but I'd also put my back against hers. Like it was that was comfortable for me.
Yeah,
that is
like
good.
still touching each other, but
You
the
don't
least warmest experience. Like I love sleeping when I'm cold.
Oh, it's the best.
I'm not absorbing any heat. Like I'm not getting any like of their breath on me, like heating me up.
Yeah, you roll into the
No
cold
hair
side of
in
the
my
bed.
face.
Yeah, that's it. I think I like it just for like the comfort. Like your arms aren't sore because they're not either under a person or in some sort of awkward position. But you know, it's just like back to back, and you're like, yeah, hey, I'm here, but don't feel obliged to roll the other way.
I had a really good sleep top tail actually. Really good sleep.
Yeah, right. Fuck yeah. I could get. That'd be alright.
Should have go. Yeah. Because there's no like. You don't wake up and think, oh, I'll give you a kiss or like grab a boob or a butt. There's just a foot there, so you're like.
So I'll just get out of bed and
I'm like,
got to do what I got to do. Got to work.
just like wrap it arm around the leg, and then just that's it. There's no unexplained erection 3 seconds later.
I think they're usually explained, champion.
Yeah, we know what's going on.
I used to sleepwalk when I was a kid.
Yeah, I still did that like into high school at least.
I didn't. I think I sleep talked a little bit. I remember it was the night before I was going to watch Spider-Man 3, and like we planned to do it, me and my family, and Mum walked in and the next morning was like, you must be really keen for this movie because you just spoke about how cool it's going to be, like really loud. Like I walked in thinking something was wrong, and you were just talking about Spider-Man 3. You guys mentioned, well, we were sort of talking about, you know, forget, I'm not going to draw that comparison because that makes it seem creepy, but I just want to say, do you guys think rape whistles are useless? Because
I've never thought to myself when I hear a whistle, I better go check that out.
It almost seems too commonplace.
And that's not even it. My point is the fact that they're attached to key rings. Like, don't get me wrong, like, there should definitely be a mechanism so, like, it's a warning signal, like, someone please come help, you know, I'm being attacked. But I don't know if a whistle to the keychain, like, the guy comes up, sneaks up behind you, about to take you. I don't know how rape works. I've watched NCIS. But you go, no, wait, fumbles through bag, kind of finds keys, picks which one out, has the little whistle, and then...
I've seen the ones around the neck, and even then, like, put it like a fucking... Get like a Garmin or an Apple Watch with a I don't know,
A button, yeah.
a button that goes to like speakers around the campus or wherever.
Yeah,
you are.
that's actually a really good idea. Like
You know how old people have those tags at the emergency?
Grandma's
That's what
got
I
one.
thought, yeah.
And you could have a check-in system where, you know, if you don't press it, you know, every hour or every 2 hours, you know, you don't press the green button every 3 hours or so to say, you know, green status, you're okay, everything's cool. And, you know, after so long...
Do you reckon that gets a bit extreme at that point if they have to check
Well,
in?
yeah.
But you know what I'll say? There's a lot of... yeah, nah.
What if they had,
that
like,
could get a bit controversial where I was headed with that, actually. Let's just lay off that for a bit.
What if you had a tiny capsule, you just break it, and it's like a pepper spray mist?
Like a smoke bomb.
Yeah, like, and it's like... Or a smell
Women are
that's
known
like...
to carry like pepper spray and like a mace, I think they call it, or something in their bags.
And even then, though, like, it's... You've got to use it and, like, point it. Like, imagine a thing that you crush, and it's so, like, just, like, a volatile fucking gas. Something that maybe not... Because it's going to hurt the woman as well, obviously, but, like, it's either that or get raped, I guess. But what if it's something that stinks like shit, like, that makes you nauseous? To a point where...
Unless you got one of
one.
those, like,
Here's one.
shitting fetishes.
Instead of just the whistle, it's like, instead of a whistle that makes a high-pitched noise, it's actually a whistle that has somehow formulated the brown
voice?
No, the brown noise.
What's a brown noise?
Like when you hear it, you just shit yourself.
Ah,
Fuck.
no, that's dangerous for everybody who's not getting raped.
Yeah. Everyone around them, instead of going to help, also just shits themselves.
Or even just
No man
people
should
who
have
aren't
this
actually
power.
getting raped and just sitting like a Xanax.
Mucking around and plays it, yeah.
No man should have that kind of power.
We should invest heavily in this.
Yeah, let's
We'll be the new Elon Musk.
way off central rape whistles. Anti-rape devices. Because don't get me wrong, rape's a terrible thing. And again, I don't want it to make it seem like we're joking about rape, because we are not. You hear me? We are not. We are joking about the concept of rape whistles and their functionality as opposed to a better alternative, potentially.
What else? What else would there be? What else could you do?
We develop all people to have the ability, you know, the guy in X-Men, how he just like hugs that lady and all the sparks come out of him. Just that. So as soon as someone's
That's wild.
yeah. Crazy. Ooh, what about like a what about like a belt that has a similar like functionality? So like, you know, if someone was holding you or something like that, you could, you know, you could initiate somehow, and it, you know, protrudes, or like a taser belt or something like that, or like maybe a taser bracelet.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Black Widow.
Like Black
parts
Widow.
before, but
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, it's
It's getting into weaponry now,
it's
isn't it?
getting
Like,
extreme.
at what point do they not get used to it? You know what? Actually, the whistle's not a bad idea. As ideas go. I know I've paid it out pretty hard tonight.
You know what
but
they should do? I don't know how well they actually do in college campuses, like
in the States.
yeah, but like here anyway, they don't teach you to react to a whistle.
Yeah.
But there should be more like education around rape whistles, and make it mandatory. So like if you ever heard a whistle late at night or even during the day, like in the forest or something, you'd run to the whistle.
That's the thing, because I reckon if you haven't heard of a rape whistle, which, you know, you often probably wouldn't hear anyway. I didn't know until I seen like a family member that had one. And I was like, oh, what's that? And they explained it. And I thought, if I heard a high-pitched whistle in the, like, it was dark at night, I was, you know, let's say I've just gone to the shops late to get whatever, and then going back to my car and I hear a whistle, I'd almost get in my car and fucking get out of there.
Yeah, your first
You
instinct
think someone's coming at you.
is that a fucking whistle?
Yeah.
Like
Is
especially
this some sort
in
of
Canberra,
Saw type scenario? Like, is someone about to take me?
you know, if I'm in Canberra of a night time, let you know, winter or summer, it doesn't matter. I'm so used to hearing whistles at every sports ground, you know, within 3
100%.
kilometres of
That's
me.
where my mind would go.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, you know, someone's
Just
Training
scored.
or like-
Yeah.
yeah, you know, someone scored. There's a ref blowing a whistle somewhere. Yeah, it's not an alarm system anymore. It's just like something is happening. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Joel, you never do the outro. Wrap us up, mate.
It's been our 10th episode. So yeah, No.
Brilliant.
Nice.
It's been episode 10 of Way Off Central. Hope you enjoyed. Again, check out titancastnetwork.com. Vote for us so we can win some free shit. Tell your family, friends, workmates about us. Get us a few listens. We're nearly at 1,000 listens. So, yeah, keep up good work. Love hearing from you, so keep it up. Give us suggestions to talk about. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening, guys. Way Off Central.
That was a Titancast episode.